r/us credit. What's something that sounds horrible, but is actually pleasurable once you try it? Sensory deprivation tanks. You strip down and get in a tank of body temperature salt water. The room is soundproof and pitch black. You just lie there for a bit and hallucinate. It sounds terrifying, especially for people with claustrophobia, but it's an incredible experience unlike anything I'd ever done before. I highly suggest everyone try it. Edit. Jesus fucking Christ. I logged back in this morning with 92 notifications. You'll need to chill. I thought I was getting spammed. Other notes. I know of Joe Rogan, but don't listen to his podcast. I have tinnitus. Honestly, your heartbeat and blood flow are just as loud. Yes, you can have vivid hallucinations without drugs. That's kinda the whole point. Doesn't seem to work for everyone, but it sounds like some places don't actually deprive all your senses. Who the fuck plays rain noises in these things? I love that he said I want you to remember this moment. In all the years to come, in your most private moments, I want you to remember my hand at your throat. I want you to remember the one man who beat you. Having an abscess tooth extracted. Before the procedure, it was the most painful thing I've ever experienced. I went in to have it pulled, and the dentist tried to explain to me that they could save the tooth blah blah blah. I was in so much pain I just said take it out please. They numbed me up, but it didn't touch the pain I was in. After a few minutes of them playing around in my mouth with a pick and pliers, I started to feel pressure on my jaw and the tooth popped out. The dentist was surprised and said, "Yeah, I bet that feels better." He said a bunch of infection came out, which is what he was vacuuming out. Immediate relief. Like no pain at all. Relief to the point that I was in ecstasy. I almost cried. This is literally what happened to me. Infected tooth after a dodgy root canal that was basically sitting rotting. I was given antibiotics, but they did nothing. The pain was constant, but it suddenly got much worse over the weekend. I was in the worst pain I have ever felt. 8 AM Monday morning, I basically kicked the dentist's door open and begged them to take it out. I didn't care who did it. I was at that stage where the janitor could have turned up with a pair of pliers and I would have given him the go ahead. As soon as that tooth was out, the relief was instant. A slight popping noise, and then it was like being shot full of morphine. I swear, all my other senses had been numbed by the pain, and it was like getting everything all back at once. Everything seemed brighter, louder, and just generally better all round. I've broken bones and had some pretty nasty injuries, but none of them came close to the pain of that bloody tooth. When I had dry socket after my implant, I ended up in the air with pain. I remember when they stuck this biggest needle in my mouth full of Novocaine, and when the numbing started I breathed and just cried because of the relief. Mouth pain is literally the worst. Fun fact. The nerves in your jaw do not go to your spine first. Your brain feels the pain 100% without any filtering that the spine normally does, and on a much shorter pathway. Edit. It doesn't actual filter pain, but there's more reading to be done here. Output of the spinal cord is dependent on various spinal mechanisms which can either increase or decrease the activity of dorsal horn neurons, which, to me, an unlearned heathen, sounds like the pain is different from the mere fact that it is transmitted through the spinal cord. Also, the veins and arteries in your upper jaw either come from or go straight to your brain. Infections in your mouth are life-threatening because a bad enough infection can send bacteria straight to the middle of your brain. Don't fuck around with mouth problems. I have had 4 kids without an aesthetic and abscess pain is worse. Mostly because labor will eventually end, but the abscess only gets worse and worse. Gets you to that point where you 100% understand the ice skate scene in Castaway. I think just going to the dentist full stop applies to this post. I hadn't been for years, until I got into pain. I ignored it, it went away, came back, went away etc. I hated the thought of going to dentist. I had a really bad dentist as a child, so that carried over to my adulthood. I went in to just have the problem tooth out. At my initial exam they told me I need 8 procedures. Instantly shit myself, and couldn't concentrate all week, until it was D-Day, numbed up, did his thing and they're like, why the fuck was I so scared? Seriously, the dentist isn't as bad as you think at all. Life hack, get all of your work done without numbing, and you'll have something pleasant to think about while you're sitting at an 8-year-old school play wishing you were in a Spanish Inquisition torture chamber. Going in a capsule type water slide. It's really tense in the line when you know how it works, and the noises are frightening. But once you go, you see it's a really cool feeling of going very fast in a tube. Honestly, throwing up after drinking too. It feels like it takes the drunk right out of me, but I'm still tired enough to collapse in bed and sleep. It's a rush of sobriety. Those scalp massager things that kind of look like alien torture devices. Those feel so fucking good, like non-sexual orgasms. Sensory deprivation tanks. You strip down and get in a tank of body temperature salt water. The room is soundproof and pitch black. You just lie there for a bit and hallucinate. It sounds terrifying, especially for people with claustrophobia, but it's an incredible experience unlike anything I'd ever done before. I highly suggest everyone try it. Edit. Jesus fucking Christ. I logged back in this morning with 92 notifications. You'll need to chill. I thought I was getting spammed. Other notes. I know of Joe Rogan, but don't listen to his podcast. I have tinnitus. Honestly, your heartbeat and blood flow are just as loud. Yes, you can have vivid hallucinations without drugs. That's kinda the whole point. Doesn't seem to work for everyone, but it sounds like some places don't actually deprive all your senses. Who the fuck plays rain noises in these things? My TENS unit. Sending small electrical shocks through your muscles sounds like torture. But when you set it up right there is a twinge of pain, and then it subsides. It's great. Even better is acupressure mat. A bed of nails. I've fallen asleep on mine more than once due to how relaxing it is. FYI, try to avoid this, as being woken by little stabby pains when you roll over in your sleep is unfun. But I also fall asleep in MRI machines, so take that how you will. Having your ears cleaned out by someone else. Yeah baby. When I was in high school I was water skiing and took a hard fall that dislodged a giant earwax ball that clogged my ear. A nurse squirted some warm water in both my ears until all the wax came out. It seemed like I could hear leaves rustling from a mile away after that. Going to the movie theater alone. I really hate how it feels weird to have friends to go to a theater. It's the one social experience where you literally can't talk to anyone you go with. Actually committing to learning a new language improves memory, plus now you're bilingual. Waking up early to have a coffee as the sun rises. Be in the north. Sun rises at 10 AM in the winter. Profit. Give up smoking. Nearly a year for me. Best thing I ever did. Sacrificing comfort in exchange for change. It's like getting out of the lukewarm bath before it gets cold. Sure, you're comfortable now, but if you give it up as a choice before it gets cold, then you'll feel much better. Edit. The city we live in has a lot of pollution, and while it's been nice, it's just been getting worse, so we will go to another place soon. Here's a video of us training to cycle from Hanoi to Europe. Riding your bike long distances. It won't be pleasurable until you condition your butt and build your baseline, but once you do, a ride through the countryside at a leisurely pace is one of life's great pleasures, and will inevitably make you feel like a kid again. Cue that one person that has to post about their horrific childhood in response to my last point. This sounds disgusting, but definitely delivering your placenta after giving birth. You'd think it would hurt just as bad, or that you'd feel relief from popping an 8-pound human out of your now very sore genitals, but nope. No relief until the placenta just slides out. And then it feels like someone's been standing on your chest for 9 months and you can finally breathe again. I felt light as a fucking feather. Insta satisfying. 10/10ths recommend. The kid's alright too, I guess. Delivering the placenta hurt worse than delivering the kid. At least for me it did. I have the biggest phobia of pregnancy, and this comment did not help at all. Going to the gym several times a week. Truly. Start small, a day or two a week, but make it a thing if it helps. Go with a friend. Having a friend to encourage you can make all the difference, especially if they are at or just slightly above the level you're at. The days you don't want to go are the most important. Just make it into the gym that day, then change once you've changed. Do some stretching. If you want to go home after, you can, but if you can do one exercise, do it, then you can go home. If you want, keep that up till you finish. Hey, sometimes you go home after one exercise and that's okay, but you put the effort in to get there and get started. Once you've got a rhythm down, add a day, then another. Aim for 4 days a week. Give yourself a break in the middle, make it enjoyable. Do a routine you enjoy, use a nap, read some stuff about it. It becomes intoxicating. Edit. I got much of this idea from the No More 0 Days post a few years ago. I read it early in my lifting life, and it became such a core part of how I look at things. I totally forgot where it came from. Thanks to /u/Ryan01 for writing it, and /u/toilet_worshipper for reminding me. I sometimes regret skipping, but I never regret going. If you spend more time just being you than trying to change and refine yourself around what you think everyone wants you to be, you tend to become more happy and confident in yourself, and those kinds of people make more friends. After all, to bring up an old cliche, how many times have you heard of some person doing a whole lot of things they don't want to because otherwise what would the neighbors think? It can go too far, of course. Don't give a shit, but don't use it as an excuse to be an asshole. There are two types of not caring. One is called nihilistic apathy and represents the collapse of the will to participate in the world. This type of not caring is a defense mechanism. It is not growth, but regression and stagnation and retreat and passivity and resignation, and, eventually, probably, death and erasure, and forget and non-existence. This kind of not caring is actually caring a lot, caring too much, but mutated, disguised, deferred, to redirect or prevent the pain of caring and suffering for it. It is being so scared of the bees that you forego the honey. The other type of not caring is also actually not caring, but rather a coming to terms with the fact that the world is not perfect. Nobody who lives in it is perfect, and caring is at its essence a sort of vulnerability, and you will feel pain for caring. It is natural to feel pain for caring, and this is caring failure, which is normal, and everyone experiences it. And this kind of apparent not caring is actually caring, but caring with resilience, without allowing yourself to crumple under caring failure, caring pain, and most important, not falling for the trap of pulling away from the world when it hurts you. So when you say you wish you could not care, do you really want to not care? Or do you actually want to care with resilience? Not caring is not simply being contrarian, or rude, or inconsiderate. Healthy not caring comes from confidence. It comes from being comfortable with vulnerability, not from spitting in the face of the world. Skydiving. You do feel nervous the first time, right before you jump out of the plane, but after that the rush is amazing, and lasts for a couple hours. My first time, the ride up was just so calming. All of the nerves I thought I would have just turned into this very zen feeling. Definitely an amazing, albeit expensive, experience. Funny you mention the ride up. So apparently it was the last day this place was open. They were closing shop, or moving. Anyway, you could tell all the employees were having fun and enjoying their last day. The people jumping were my dad, brother, and myself. We are booked in the afternoon and I don't know how the order was chosen, but my dad went, then bro. Finally it was my turn. So my bro lands, we all high five him and hug. The plane comes down to load me and my instructor with one other guy. They say they have enough fuel for the run, let's do it. So we start going up, and then that other guy started taking his clothes off, and wouldn't you know it, he got bare ass naked. I finally had to ask, what the hell is going on? I'm nervous as hell, thinking there is a slight possibility of plummeting to my death and this dude is gonna hang down. I found out, through tears of laughter, for a person's 100th solo jump, tradition dictates you do it naked. Suffice to say I will never forget the first time I went skydiving. And somehow the ride up was just as memorable. I have clinical depression and have a hard time feeling emotions on the same level as undepressed people. I still had fun skydiving. Okay, so let me get this straight. You wipe your butt, then bidet, then wipe your butt dry? Or do you bidet blast off your butt and then only use paper to dry off? How does it work? Spicy food once you build a tolerance. The endorphin rush alone is worth the initial pain. Edit #1. For you heat lovers out there, I highly recommend trying the tube of therapy nuts. Just one peanut will send the ordinary person to the emergency room. This is the only spicy food that has been way spicier than I expected, and it honestly kicks my ass because I struggle with capsaicin extract. I'd rather eat 5 Carolina Reapers over one of these peanuts. Edit #2. A lot of people have me asking for tips on building a tolerance to such food, along with tips on how to overcome the digestive discomfort after eating spicy food. Building a tolerance takes a lot of time, years, and requires you push yourself way beyond your limit once in a while. Begin with adding jalapenos to foods you enjoy such as omelets, burgers, salads, or stir fries. Work your way up by adding serranos, then habaneros, then chili diables, etc. You can Google Scoville pepper scales to see a list of hot peppers and their heat level. After months of consistently adding peppers to normal foods you eat, start eating whole fresh peppers by themselves on a near daily basis. In order to ease digestive discomfort from spicy foods, I recommend eating some plain Greek yogurt, a banana, bread, and Pepto-Bismol prior to eating spicy food. Eating vegetables. I'm working on eating healthier, and I'm still not eating salads, but I'll eat veggies in a stir fry at least. What does a snail say when he finds himself on a turtle's back? Wee. Please like, comments, subscribe and share the video. Thanks for watching.